Hey, it's Mike, episode 4 of 2 Minute Tuesday. Actually, today will be probably Few Minute Thursday because there's a few topics out there I want to cover. First one being I'd like to welcome another sponsor to the 2 Minute Tuesday family, along with RaceRaves.com, is Blue Moon Beer, one of my favorites. Just a great beer. You throw an orange slice in it, and it's really good stuff. They don't know they're a sponsor yet, but I'm sure when they find out, they will not be sending me a cease and desist letter. I'm sure they'll be very happy for the exposure and commercial value to the dozen or so people who are going to end up watching this. Second of all, if you read my blog today, which if you're not reading my blog, shame on you, and I will provide my web address and my Twitter handle and my Instagram handle to all of you so you can follow me in my social empire. If you hadn't seen any of those, you'd know, or you wouldn't know, that I committed to a marathon. Kind of a bit of a surprise, but I decided to run the St. Jude Marathon in Memphis on December 5th. Just wasn't sure I was going to do one this year, but I ended up deciding to because my friend Brent, who I ran the Viking Half Marathon with back in March down in Mississippi, is running the race, and it just sounded like a lot of fun. And I had a good time visiting Memphis the last time we were there because after we ran the Viking Half, we went to Memphis for the afternoon, and I really enjoyed it. So want to go back there and see a little more of the city this time on foot. Weather's usually good down there. I don't have to start training until the end of July, so October and November are going to be great months to train for a marathon. So should be a lot of good things going on, so keep track of that. Today's topic, as you see, I'm sitting on my deck and it's a beautiful 80-degree day again here in Bartlett. Midwest sometimes gets knocks for its weather, but to tell you the truth, we have a lot more days like this than you would think. Just a spectacular day today. Maybe a little humid still from last night's rain, but otherwise, not a cloud in the sky, or very few clouds in the sky, and nice little breeze. So, um, what I want to talk about though is running in these kind of conditions. For some of us who aren't lucky enough to live someplace where the climate is great year round, we have challenges. Here in northern Illinois, the temperature swings 120 degrees through the course of the year. It can get to 100 degrees in the summer. It can get to 20 below in the winter. It seems like you're almost always adapting to something when it comes to running. But that's just part of the fun and part of the challenge of living here. But during the summer, of course, it presents a lot of challenges. During the summer, it's also uh, a lot more dangerous than any other time of the year with the heat and just what the heat can do to you. So, a few tips that I've gleaned in my summers of running that might help you. And the first one is hydration and nutrition. Um, Most important thing during the summertime is just those things start before before you run, a couple hours before you run, as a matter of fact. It's just you need to have food in your stomach. You need to be hydrated because you can't spend a race or run or whatever you're doing in the heat. You can't spend it chasing your hydration. You always have to stay a step ahead of it, and that's the most important thing. Because even if you say, well, I'm going to take a break and I'm going to drink some water, well, you take a break and you're still sweating. So even though you're bringing in fluids, you're sweating fluids out. So you're really not catching up. You have to be ahead of your hydration before you even get started, and you have to keep up with it. Try and figure out sweat rates and really get into the technical aspect of that, and that'll help you run better. The other thing is to pick a good time of day. A lot of people like to run early in the morning. I like to run at night. I like to run when it's dark, and it's really the sun bothers me more than the heat and humidity. I mean, just once the sun goes down, even if it's 80 degrees and it's humid, it just feels better to run in. So I choose to go at night. Other people choose to run, early. But around here, and I'm sure in places like Texas or Florida, you probably got to get up pretty early to beat the heat. But it is worth it if you can get your run in before the conditions get really difficult. In terms of what to wear, I'm really blown away sometimes when I see on hot days what people are wearing. Whether some people are wearing long sleeves, some people are wearing pants, some people are wearing black. You know, the thing is running. There is a fashion aspect to it. I know. I do the same thing. Sometimes I worry about what I wear, and we all get caught up in it. But you know, if you're in a training run, just wear what's comfortable, wear what's breathable, wear something white, wear something without sleeves, and you know, for goodness sakes, wear shorts. I know a lot of people sometimes worry, oh, what do my legs look like? Or you're a runner, your legs look fantastic. Okay, so you can wear shorts. Even if you wear the basketball type shorts that go down to your knees, you're still better off than wearing something long. I mean, your skin needs to be exposed and breathe. You know, the hardest part about summer is your body's always fighting against the heat. You know, I mean, when you're cold, your body wants to warm up. When you're hot, your body wants to cool down. You have to give your body the opportunity to cool itself down. We don't think twice about piling on a bunch of layers of clothes to run in during the winter because we want to keep our bodies cool. And it's the same thing with running in the summer. You want to keep your body cool, where the best thing is to dress as light as you can. Also, don't forget to wear a hat. I mean, obviously you can see I got to wear a hat. I got to wear sunscreen. Some days I'm not as good at it at others, but it's just really important to take care of your skin. The other thing is how to run. You got to have real decent expectations. I see a lot of times on comment boards and on Facebook and Twitter, and people are just like, I don't know what's wrong. I'm not running well. You're not going to run well in the heat. I mean, that's just the way it is. Your body goes into a different mode, and it goes into a little more survival mode. You're not going to run as fast. So just the most important thing is just get the miles in, because there's going to come a time, especially if you run in the fall, or if you know, you're running a goal race in the fall or later on into the winter or something like that, where you know the runs in the heat are going to pay off. And that's what you're doing. You're just banking miles, and once it cools down, you know, your body's going to love it. It's going to respond. You're going to come to life. You're going to run fast. You just need to just really temper your expectations in the summer and just get your runs in and just enjoy summer, and everything will take care of itself. And the last thing, though, and some people may disagree with me on this, you got to embrace the heat sometimes. You know, a lot of times in my running career, I've said to people, or people have seen me when it's cold or rainy and I'm out running, and they'll look at me and go, "You're out running? Why?" Well, race day is never going to be perfect. You know, you can sit there and pick a race and think, well, historically the race has been cool, or historically it's been cloudy or whatever. You never know what race day is going to hold. Um, and so it's good to run in different conditions. It's good to you know, get your body used to certain conditions. I know that really manifested itself to me in 2007. The only time I could run most of the time was at lunch, and that was a really hot summer. Heat indexes were 95 to 100 almost all summer long. But then came the 2007 Chicago Marathon, which everybody knows the legend about that one, when it was 88 degrees and they ran out of water and they shut down the race and all these bad things happened. Well, funny thing was, because I had run all summer, I was so prepared to run that day. You know, and that wasn't my fastest marathon. Matter of fact, it's not even my second fastest marathon, but I thought it was the strongest one I ran. You know, I ran a negative split, and I just had a really good day, and I really can point back to all those runs in the heat that I did that got me ready for that moment. And part of training, part of running, if you race, is preparation, and you got to be prepared for everything. So if you know your only time to run is noon, get out and run at noon. Don't put off a run just because you can't do it at the most perfect time of the day. Get out and run at noon. Temper your expectations. Drink a lot of water. Put the miles in, because at some point it's going to come back to you that it's going to be beneficial to you, and you'll really appreciate the extra things you did to get yourself ready. So that's it. Have a good week, and we'll see you next Tuesday.